Hello. Figured I'd make another video on composites, tables, and graphs because I was like, I want them to figure out, but this is also a really big concept. I don't know if they learned this last year. I didn't talk to Ms. Palmer, so I'm going to cover it to try and help give some sort of start. So here we go, composites from a table and graph. So if you see here, I have a table. Sorry if you hear the helicopter in the background. That is what it is. We're saying what's f of g of 1? So we have f of x with the inputs -2 to 2, g of x with those same. So g of 1, you're saying what's the output of g when you input 1? So g of 1 is when you input 1, g of 1 is 2. So then that becomes f of 2. Because g of 1, if you input 1, you get 2. And then what's f of 2? F of 2, if you input 2, you get 3. So f of g of 1 is equal to 3. Because that equals 3, and g of 1 was equal to 2. So it's like, that's how I got the 2 there. Don't want to overcomplicate it in a way. G of f of 1, so you're saying, okay, 1's going to be an input into f. So if 1 gets input into f, I'm at -1. So then that becomes g of -1. And g of -1 is 4. And there's your answer there. And that's using composites from a table, which hopefully helps you see inputs and outputs, and that's why I'm saying those are so important. Calculus, the AP exam loves talking about inputs and outputs in composite functions. As for the graph, I have these two graphs here. I have f of x equals 2x, g of x equals x squared. What is f of g of 1 and g of f of 4? So f of g of 1. So 1's being input into g, which since I give you the equation, you could just plug in 1 and get your output. But I'm going to use the graph here because I don't know if our problems always give you an equation. So I plug in 1, my output is 1. So then that'll give me f of 1. And then I go over to my function f and I say, okay, I input 1, where am I at? If I input 1, I'm at 2. So then that's equal to 2. And that's doing it from just a graphical perspective, which I want you to get able to do rather than using the equations as well. G of f of 4 would mean, okay, 4 is being plugged into f. So my input 4 is 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm going to have to continue this a little bit farther. Now when I'm at 4, where am I at? Well, I know that if I plug it in, I'll just be at 8. So then that's actually going to be g of 8. And then now I have to plug 8, or look at 8 as an input for the function g, which, yeah, I made a bad graph here. But that's okay. We'll use the equation, in which if this parabola continued at 8, 8 times 8, we plug that in, would be 64. And that's doing composites from a table and graph. And hopefully both these make sense, because this is some bigger concepts that I know without even having to look ahead we'll be seeing more of. All right.